Okay, so we are back to Hilchos Talmud Torah, Perek Daled, Halachos Aleph and Beis. We're going to review the halachos and then the questions, and then try to answer them. Aim lamdin Torah elo l'talmid hagun. We only teach Torah to a proper talmid, na'e b'ma'asav, and we learned this, that it's defining proper talmid in two ways. Either he is pleasant in his actions, o latam, or he's a tam. Okay, and I'm not going to raise all the questions now. We'll raise them after. But if he's on a bad path, we return him to the good, and we accustom him in the upright path, and we check him, we test him, and then we admit him entry into the Beis Midrash, and we teach him. The Chachamim said, anyone who teaches a student who's not fit, it's as if he threw a stone to Mercury. The deity, not the planet. As it says, like one who puts a stone in a slingshot, so is one who gives honor to a fool, mishlei fool. And honor only means Torah. As it says, the Chachamim will inherit kavod. Actually, I'll do the questions on this and then on base. So our questions were: what is a talmid hagun? What does it mean? Na'e b'masav and tam, and we went through several possibilities about tam. We said that even though people associate tam to the Haggadah, where he's like intellectually simple, it doesn't seem like that's what the Rambam means, because the Rambam's talking about non-intellectual features, right? Midos, it seems like. Then we said tam could also be a very high level, like a tzaddik, like Tamim Hayab Dorosav, like Noah or Eov, Eov was Tam Yashar Yerel Kim and Sarmei, or Yaakov is each Tam. But then that also seems to be not a good read here, because if you, that kind of Tam already is Na'e b'masav. So we weren't sure what it meant, although we did come up with a theory yesterday. And then we said, what is included in Holech B'derech Lo Tova, both for the Talmud and the Rav? What is the scope of the restriction? Do we just not allow him entry into the Beis Midrash, which is what the Rambam explicitly says? Or would it involve not teaching him in other capacities? Like, could you make a full-time, have a full-time student outside of the Beis Midrash, and we just don't want him in that environment? Or, what does he mean by machnisin also the Beis Midrash, or melamdin also? 4, why do we require behavioral rehab before starting him in Talmud Torah in the Beis Midrash? Why not let him do both at the same time? Because we do hold that the Torah influences you positively. 5, what are we concerned with here? Meaning, what are we worried about? And we split that into 2 questions. What's the comparison to throwing a stone at Merculus, which is avodah Zara? And what idea do we get from the pasuk in Mishlei of giving a ksil kavod? And those are our questions for the first halakha. I think I actually want to just focus on the first halakha for now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the only question I think we answered yesterday is na'e b'masav and tam. Mm-hmm. We saw in Rabbeinu Yonah that they say a tzaddik tamim is tzaddik tamim b'midosav tzaddik b'masav, I think, or the other way around. So it seems like you could say that tam means good midos and na'e b'masav means good actions, but then we have a problem on that, which is that especially according to the Rambam, midos are kind of defined by their actions. That's how he defines deos. So that didn't quite work out. So I was thinking, could you say that it does refer to the tam of the Haggadah? That it means that, is there a way to work that out? I know it's hard because it doesn't seem like it, and also we don't have much information about the tam and the Haggadah. And I want to look at one source. Yeah.
Just like tam, I guess. And then, I guess we in the Haggadah, I guess it's this symbol, since we often use it as a visually compared to the Chacham. Could you also just say it's a sort of a pure, untainted, as opposed to everyone?
Yeah, I was thinking, simple blank slate type, undeveloped. And I was thinking, the drasha about this, I think it's a classic question, but I don't know where this answer comes from, about how we give the Ben Russia and the Eno Yudei Lishol the same answer. And the question is why? Have you heard of this thing? That there are some Mefarshim who hold that the Eino Yudei Lishol is like someone who we can see is developing into a Rasha. And the Ben Tam is someone who we see is developing into a Chacham. So if you're going to say that, then that does mean that the Ben Tam of the Haggadah is not just a purely neutral category. It's someone who, like, we see that he has like an untainted potential, even though he's not developed in his actions yet. Whereas the Eino Yudei Lishol is like, partakes of wickedness in some way. I'm not saying the Rambam holds that. I'm just trying to fish for stuff. So I did think that obviously this is a Rambam Bekius here, but I was thinking that maybe we could just look at the Gemara, because the Kesef Mishnah interprets the Rambam in light of the Gemara. Well, let's read the Kesef Mishnah first. He says, "In melamdin v'chulei, olatam, kolomar she'in barer lano imhu tov im lav." It's not clear to us if he's good or not. So that's what Rav Makbili quoted yesterday. But the question is, where does he get this from? So he learns it from this Gemara in Brachos 28a. Okay, and this is what I alluded to yesterday. I'm not going to go through the whole story, just the relevant part where Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was chosen to replace Rabban Gamliel as the I think it was a Nasi, and they made a bunch of changes. And so let's just do it from the top of the page because it's easier. So his wife said to him, "Dilma ma'abrin lach," maybe they'll remove you from your position, like maybe they'll fire you. She's saying this to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Amar la, so he said to her, "Lishtamish inish yom achada b'kasad demukra v'limchar lidvar." Says, let a man use the cup of glory for one day, and then tomorrow it'll break. Meaning, I'll serve in this position as long as I can, and whatever happens, happens. Amar le, and here's the famous one: leis lach chivarta. You don't have white hair. Hahu yoma bar tamne sreishnech hava. That day he was 18 years old. Israchish le nisa. V'ahadaru le tamne sre dare chivarta. A miracle was done for him, and he sprouted 18 rows of white hairs. Right, so people say that that's a miracle, right? You know what? Let's just do the Rambam on that. There's a good Rambam on that. Rambam interprets it naturalistically. This is in Brachos. I gotta find where it is here. It's the whatever.
Yeah. It's just thinking he's young and usurper.
Yeah. I don't remember the beginning of the story, whether he like voluntarily usurped it or if they like voted him into the position. So I think, let's see here. We're looking for the famous Mishnah that we quote in the Haggadah itself. What is it? What parak did you say? Parak Revi. Yeah, why did I not see it? I feel like it's not supposed to be Parak V. I wonder if that's a typo.
Is it the first version?
I thought it was in the no, but this is.
I see it in her.
Oh no, I know. Yeah. This is the hold on. Yeah, sorry, it's in the first parak. Yeah, so I don't know.
What?
No, so the Kesef Mishnah is quoting the right Gemara, but the thing about I know why. You'll see why. So it's on page Lamed Daled. I'm not gonna put this on the screen. The bottom of the Mishnayos there, Tess, not in the commentary yet. You see the over here.
This is from the wrong page.
Yeah. Maskirun Yitzias Mitzrayim b'leilah. We mentioned Yitzias Mitzrayim at night. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Hari ani keben shivim shana v'lo zachisi shit Amar Yitzias Mitzrayim b'leilah ad shadarsha ben zoma. The only thing we need from this is he says, I was like a 70-year-old man, right? So look at the Rambam on page Lamed Hey. Dibra Maschil, Hari ani keben shivim shana. He says, v'lo Amar ben shivim shana. He didn't say I was 70 years old. Lefish lo haya ben shivim. He was not 70. Kim sa'ir liyamim. He was young in years. He was 18 or 17. What did we just say? No. He grew 18 rows of hair. Oh, we didn't finish reading the Gemara. Let's just finish reading that part of the Gemara. He sprouted 18 rows of white hairs. right? He says, I was like a 70-year-old, not a 70-year-old. So now the Rambam explains in the פירוש המשניות, marbe lahagos v'lilmod v'likros laila v'yoman. He was excessive in thinking and learning and reading night and day. To the point where his body weakened and he became like he prematurely aged. And he became like a zaken. I don't think it here means a zaken like what do you call it? Like I don't think it means like his skin wrinkled. I think it means like zaken like oh no, that's the word seva. I mean, seva takum is white hair. So never mind then. He was like a zaken. He voluntarily brought upon himself zikna, as it is explained in the Talmud. Ani al-af rov hishtadlusi v'hischabrusi im ha'chachamim lo zachisi ladas ha'remes ha'kazuv al-chovas yikris parshas tzitzis b'layla achadartim zoma. So now the Rambam has to reinterpret, or not just the Rambam, but not that I've learned for 7 years, but I've learned enough to like prematurely age myself.
But like it still does not really work.
It doesn't what?
Because it's saying on that day.
Right. Yeah. I mean that's an exaggeration because I'll use exaggerations. But it's a funny way to learn the thing. But I guess Rambam didn't want to say that miracles were done for the Tanaim. Maybe I don't know. Okay, but now we get to the part of our story that we care about, which is the next part, right after that in the Gemara. Tana, it was taught in a Braisa. Oso Hayom, that day, Silkuhu l'shomer haPesach, they removed the guard of the door. Okay, and this is the door of the Beis Midrash. The Nitna lahem reshus l'talmidim likanes, and they gave permission to the students to enter the Beis Midrash. Okay, why do they need to do that? Shahaya Rambam Gamliel machriz v'omer kol tamid she'ein tocho kavaro lo yikanes l'Beis Midrash. Any student, Rambam Gamliel decreed, like as a policy, any student whose inside is not like his outside may not enter the Beis Midrash. Okay, so I believe that's what the Kesef Mishnah, we're going to continue learning the Gemara for a second, but Kesef Mishnah says, that's where we learned that it was a tam. He says, I think this is Hasam. Oh, fine. Oh, yeah, sorry. So let's go. We do need to finish the story. So that was the change in policy. And it says, Hahu Yoma itosu kama safsali. That day, many benches were added, meaning that like the Beis Midrash filled up. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, pligi ba Abba Yosef ben Dostai Brabanan. Okay, this is a funny machlokas. Abba Yosef bar Dostai and the Rabbanan argued about this. Chad Amar itosfu arba ma'asaf saleh. One of them said that there were 400 benches added. Chad Amar shva me'asaf saleh. The other one said 700. I have no idea what to do with machloksim like that. In the like what is that? Havaka chalsha da'ate Rambam Gamliel. So Rambam Gamliel, chalash da'ate means literally his his psyche became weakened, but I think it means like he became he had anxiety. Okay, what does that mean? Oh, sorry. Let's read on. Amar, he said, Dilma chas v'shalom manati Torah miYisrael. Maybe chas v'shalom I have withheld Torah from Israel. Okay, so his concern was he saw that with his policy, the Beis Midrash had a certain number of people, and then once his policy was changed, then the Beis Midrash flooded with talmidim, and he was like, "Wow, now people are learning. Maybe I was preventing people from learning." And Rashi says, "Kal chashadat Rambam Gamliel." He said basically like, maybe I'll be punished because I prevented talmidim from coming in during my tenure. So what does the Gemara say? This is a weird thing. The Gemara says, so he had a dream. I think this means, let me just see the Steinsaltz here. Kadim levanim shemaleim afer. So they showed him in his dream white jugs filled with ash. Okay, and Rashi explains what that means. Demalian kidma klomar af elu enam reuyim, to show even these guys who came into the Beis Midrash are not roy to learn. Okay, so what happened to him? So this is funny. Velohi, but that's not actually true. Hahi lietove daate hu da'achazule. He was just shown that dream to soothe him. It's a weird thing, right? So he like was worried when he saw the Beis Midrash filling up. Maybe like I prevented worthy students from entering the Beis Midrash, and he was shown a dream of these white jugs filled with ash, and he got from that, oh, these guys look like they're white on the outside, but really they're ashen on the inside. Like they really are not worthy. But then the Gemara says that's not actually true, but this was just shown to him to make him feel better. So like
wrong.
So it sounds like he was wrong, but and that's why I've seen several midrashim like this. We had one earlier, similar with Shmuel and the Nichush thing.
Why was he comforted?
Why was he comforted? Yeah, it's weird, right?
Well,
In
the sense that the comforting would be that he doesn't know that the dream was wrong. He just
right, but now he's left with like an erroneous opinion about like in other words, he really was withholding Jews from Torah, right? Yeah.
It's just like I mean, it's like Torah,
Yeah.
It's funny because he was one day from now he's like in the wrong idea.
Yeah, I mean it could be strange.
And maybe they should do because he prevented people from learning Torah. So
Yeah.
that was like Monea from people.
Right. That's just that's a big look, we saw yesterday that
I know the Gemara said he was wrong.
yeah, right. I mean, it's you are bringing in what we read yesterday of someone who's Minei Torah Yisrael, right? God doesn't help him do that is a good raya, actually. Now you did convince me, maybe. He's saying that yesterday when we read the Rambam, the 24 things that prevent you from doing tshuva, the first category included people who prevent the many from doing a mitzvah, and the result of that is God doesn't help you to do tshuva. So here's even better. It could be that when it says they showed him in his dream, that was a psychological dream.
And that's what it means. Right?
That also means that was to soothe him, meaning that he was comforting himself, and he was in error. And the Gemara is telling us he was in error. Yeah. But now look what the Kesef Mishnah does with it. This is how we got here. He says from the story, Vasikna hasam shalohi skimu ayado. It's concluded from there that they did not agree with him. So he's saying, see, this is the difficulty, because it sounds like the way we paskin, or it sounds like not what we paskin. It sounds like in the Gemara, who won out? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah won because they opened the Beis Midrash. But the Rambam is giving a halacha where he's restricting entry to the Beis Midrash. So, like, is the Rambam saying that we do go like Rambam Gamliel, and he's learning that Tom is Toho Kavaro, meaning that and that's what the Kesef Mishnah was theorizing. He was saying that he was shown a dream of people who were not Toho Kavaro, who were not, their inside was not like their outside, and he's theorizing that that's what the Rama means by Tom, which is she'ein barur lanu im hu tov im lav. It's not clear whether he's good or not. But I mean, it's a question on the Rambam of, it sounds from the Gemara like Rambam Gamliel was wrong and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was right, and the Rambam seems to be posking against that. Because the Rambam is saying that we do have a guard at the Beis Midrash who doesn't let people in unless they are good in midos, and then that guard checks them, And Elazar ben Azariah just said the actual lashon.
What is that?
Elazar ben Azariah was the one who said, "Also yom silku l'shomer hapesach nitna lahem reshus l'talmidim likanes." They removed the guard from the Beis Midrash, and all these talmidim came in. And Rambam Gamliel was the one who said,
maybe that's because meaning. Or the idea of preventing people who aren't loyal to Torah is not that in this case, preventing everyone from.
The implication, though, is, the whole context is Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah gets promoted, and then that day, presumably by his orders, they removed the guard, and it didn't say that he said get a better guard. Like it's he removed the guard altogether.
But
it's
saying two things. One, it's saying the talmidim entered,
right?
It's like these are talmidim who are not authentic proofs, and
Yeah.
I guess the language includes the person who's it says outside work. These are people who I'm guessing he'll be like from somewhere else, and they present themselves as knowledgeable but weren't.
Knowledgeable or as having good midos?
It's just having good news as being why
Right.
because it describes
Just important when you're saying.
Yeah.
And then when it says that, the giants were white but acting on the inside, right?
Yeah.
Then the market growing, meaning that they actually were right, that they were wrong, that they were Torah. Not that you shouldn't prevent those people from coming, but that they weren't those people.
So, but if we are concerned with only letting people in the Beis Midrash who were roy,
I mean, why use the shoulder? The Rambam is thinking of shoulder, the Rambam is saying, Monet and them.
well, someone is doing this, right? I mean, yeah, right. So you're saying that the Rambam is possibly. Yeah, right. No, I support your efforts. Let me just see if anyone else says something here about this decision. The Maharsha would, if anybody. Oh, wait, Maharsha on halacha. Does he hold this as halacha? No. And does he hold it to gada? Oh, so kol tam shein toku kavaro. Hainu demidamu le bechalma lechatzavi demalian kitma demi bechutz hakad hu meluban v'shalim uv'socho ein bo rak efer shu davar shafel v'eno roy. Right. So that it seems from his dream that or he was shown an appearance in his dream, the jugs that were white on the outside and intact, and inside they only have ash. That's a lowly thing. The inroy. Balo mefarish to talmid she'eno tochu kavaro hainu she'osik b'Torah vein bo Yerushalayim vein l'chalek bein talmid l'talmid chacham vein l'chalek bein talmid l'talmid chacham. Dahacha. I don't know. So it's interesting. I mean, this relates the idea of Toko Kavaro to the Yerushalayim thing, which seems to be in line with what we're saying, but I don't know. Let's just read one more Lechem Mishnah here. I didn't read that yet. פירוש Tam Ratzlomer She'eno Yadua Lanu Imhu Tov or Ra. V'nilmad Kain Mipirush Tfilas HaShachar the Amrin Hasam Tana Oso Yom Silkuhu L'Shomer Pesach V'nitin Lahem Rishus L'Tumin L'Kanis Kulei Shai Rabban Gamliel Mapris Von Kol Tam She'en Tov Kvar V'Kulei V'nira Vadai Sheshomer Pesach Hayasham Mipnei Shelo Haya Maniach L'Kanis L'Shum Tamid Elim Kain Hayubotkin also. So certainly there was a guard there because he wouldn't let any Talmud enter until he checked him. Tchila im haya toko kavaro, to see whether he was toko kavaro. Lo haya nichnas. She'en shezen nikra nitav. That guy's considered an abomination. Moshe amru beperak balo kohen gadol. Also yom silkuhu l'shomer pesach v'hayu nichnasim otaminim below bedika. Ve'alfa gav lo yirainan be itoko kavaro. Below. Oh, okay, that's how he's getting it. He's saying, you see from here, we let in talmidim who are, they let in talmidim who were not Toko Kavara, who we don't know whether they're Toko Kavara, right? Hold on. So he's saying that's what a tam is, that we don't know if it's Toko Kavara.
Yeah.
Right. So Rambam's Psak is consistent with what the policy ended up being. But if we knew that he was bad, then we wouldn't let him in. Right. Okay, all right, that's what it just needed to click here. Let's read it, finish reading. So we see that you do teach people whose status you don't know. Okay, fine. All right, so that does explain it then. So Tom here means someone who we don't know what his actions are. And I'm still funny, but I only think it's funny because yeah. Well, we when we reviewed that, we thought that didn't work out because of your objection. Were you thinking the explanation yesterday because of Tom B'midosav and Tadi B'masav?
Yeah.
But then we said that I think you said that in the Rambam's Hilchos Deos, your actions are your Deos.
Right.
Yeah. So I think this does work out better. The funny thing is, I wonder how
I guess just think
I only had
inside. The only way you'll be able to do that is check his mom stuff.
It's a good question because I think that you could have a sense of people's. It's a good question. Yeah. Yeah. It's still unsatisfying why he lists two of them. What were you gonna say?
Well, yeah,
Yeah, meaning.
Not in my phone. Why not at the same time?
Yeah, then Pushkin. Yeah.
Well, just say why does it matter? Meaning Talmud and not in my phone. Meaning that really ideal. The reason we're not more negative how it maybe did that or we don't know. Right.
That's true.
Raw.
Right.
You have to get rid of it.
That's
If
true.
you just say Talmud versus raw. Right.
Yeah, that's weird.
And you had less clear what.
Right. That doesn't.
That you went in the
Right. The idea of a Talmud Hagun wouldn't even show up then.
Right.
Right. That's okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. The reason we let in is we don't know.
Right. That's true. This makes me curious, not for Rambam Bekius, but it really makes me curious. I mean, I think it's fairly standard in at least like high schools and middle schools that they do. I mean, maybe it's just at our school we did this.
Not outside of New York.
Not outside of New York. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right. But no, that's not even fully true because they do.
The standards are much lower.
No, the standards are lower, but they don't let in people who have like behavior issues that are like holik b'derech lo tova, or at least they often don't. So, all right, whatever. How is it halakhically permissible in to bar students who are just Tom, from a school?
More than that.
Yeah. That too. I mean,
my experience.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's interesting. Okay, but that's a question for the postscript. Okay, so that answers that question, right? So we got that one. We got.
I think you know that you're not in the Torah.
Sorry, we were just gonna say that again.
I'm not in the Torah.
Right. So out of town, it is a different situation. Because you can't do that, right? Yeah. That is what. Hold on, just 1 second. Pause record. So now we can explain the derech lo tova, and we kind of saw this yesterday. I had this new insight. Sorry, we didn't see this yesterday. I had this just today. I think in Hilchos Deos. So you look at the Rambam's lashon here. About im haya holis b'derech lo tova, blah 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 blah. Umanhin oso b'derech yeshara. Okay, so if I remember correctly, the Rambam uses both those terms in Hilchos Deos for Deos things. Not manhin oso, but derech yeshara. He says when he's talking about. Mutzuvin anu lalechas b'drachim elu habenunim b'hem hadrachim hatovim b'hayesharim. Right. So derech yashar is the middle path, and those are the good midos. And then he also says, he says in, hold on. He said earlier about the extremes. So he does use derech, and derech tovim, and he had derech hayeshar. That's even more specific. So I do think it means in a Hilchos Deo sense that he has bad deos. So I think this is all consistent now with the Rambam. Yeah. Okay. Good. No new system here. Okay. So that's that. Okay.
Since we revised that numerous times already.
Yeah, right. I fear we'd have to go back into Hilchos Deos. So I didn't find the entire. Yeah. Okay. What's the scope of the restriction? So I think we kind of settled yesterday, and especially in light of the Gemara, that it really means the institution of the Beis Midrash, right? Nothing to prevent teaching Talmud Torah outside of that, and except maybe if you're going to extend the reasoning in. We need to now do question 5 because that might extend it beyond this. Let's do question 5 now. So what are we concerned with here? What is the comparison to Avodah Zara? And not just any Avodah Zara, right? It doesn't say Kilu Ovid Avodah Zara. It says Kilu Zorik Evan Lemerkulis, right? Which is a bizarre Avodah Zara. And Chazal are the ones who.
I'm wondering about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Is the Marshall because it's Avodah Zara?
Yeah, or is it the throwing of stone? So here's the thing. If it was just the stone, the stone, it could just say Kol Hashone Talmud L'Talmud She'eino Hagun Ki'ilu Nosein Evan B'Margema Shenamar Kitzur Evan B'Margema Kintos. You could just omit the whole thing about the Merculus, So I feel like there is something. It has to be something about Avodah Zara there. Yeah. No. I'm saying, okay, well, you didn't omit either, but I'd say that the one that makes sense to omit is omit the random comparison to Avodah Zara and preserve. Yeah, preserve the thing, because if you omitted the Merculus thing, it would make a lot of sense to me. Is if you teach someone who's a ksil, you're giving him kavod, and that's just going to make things worse, or it's going to make the kavod diminished. Yeah.
I guess maybe it means that when you guys teach them Torah, I guess you, create an anti-Torah person, or I guess I'll give straight to the way they'll be anti-Torah, such that you, I guess, give you made over the Avodah Zara because I guess now he has Torah, but it's bad meat, but also bad meat. So I guess the Torah will compound to make it worse.
Yeah, so I mean, I hear that implication, but I feel like if you're going to be using an example of an Isser D'Oraisa that is trying to show you're saying Avodah Zara because it's anti-Torah, but yeah, I don't know, it feels like it doesn't connect to mitos. I think that's my other problem with the Avodah Zara thing.
I'm wondering if it's not really
Yeah.
And you're saying that like it's saying you're going to rot it well.
Right. We didn't look at the Rambam there. Let's just quickly look at the Rambam.
Is there another saying like that?
I don't know.
I can't think of an English saying that
Well, you're giving him ammo, right? That's like the one that I say.
No, but I'm saying it more like you're doing nothing. Going to rot a wall.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I knew you saying like that. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'll let you know if I think of it, but I also can't think of it.
Something on toilets.
That's more like a wish in the thing. I think like that action you're doing with finding someone doing.
Right.
More action.
Yeah. All right. So let's just read this here. Avodos harbe. This is in Avodah Zara 3:2.
Is the Yisroel help is paid with good intentions?
Sort of.
It is kind of like that, yeah. Avodos harbe kavu Avodah Zara l'chol tzelem v'tzelem l'chol tzura v'tzura. Avodah zeh eno kavodah zeh. So the Avodah Zara established many types of worship for each and every statue and image. And the vote of this one's not like the vote of that one. Kagon Pa'or, Shavadasa Shiyifor Atmo Adam Atmo Lo, like Pa'or, where its service is that the person defecates to it, Umarkulis and Merculus, Shavadasa Shiyizra Glo Avanim, is that its vote is that you throw stones to it. Oh, Yisakel Milfan of Avanim. Does that mean you stone someone in front of it? I never noticed this. Yes. So it's Avodah Sheyizrak Lo Avanim. I knew about that. Oh, Yisakel Milafanav Avanim. Or does that mean you throw? Yisakel sounds like skila, right? He doesn't just say. Well,
general correction.
Milafana from before it. V'harbe avodos kagon elu tiknu l'shar tzlamim. Yeah, what does that mean? Let's just. I don't have my Rav Makbili here. Let me. Oh, actually, I have better than Makbili. Let me just see Kafef. Sorry, Rav Makbili. I didn't mean better in the sense of like definitively better. I meant more thorough in terms of giving not just the digest but the actual sources to Yisaka Milfanav Avanim Gimel. Quote here, Echad Hanosna ve'Echad Hanotla. Oh. Sounds like he's saying that if you take stones from in front of it, I don't know. I don't know how that's in the lesson of Yisakel. Oh, is it Yisakel like you know how sometimes in Hebrew then the consonants change and it's the same word. So Yisalek Milfanav Avanim. I wonder if Sakel can mean to remove.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense. Yeah. Okay, fine. Kind of like taking communion, but you don't eat it, and it doesn't change into Jesus. Just like the whole like taking stones. Like they go by and they take stones from it. Yeah. Okay, so does this help us? No, not really. I mean, you do have this halacha here. And then if you do the wrong one, right? Yeah, but we're talking about a case where you're doing the right one, right? Zorak Evan the Merciless.
Right. But if you do the wrong one,
you're pater from.
Obviously, why would that be a good thing to poop on Mercolius?
Because it'd be degradation to him.
So that should be a good
thing. We don't care about if it's good or bad. We care about whether you're doing Maaseh Avodah Zara or not.
Exactly. So I'm degrading Mercolius. It's only
right. So that's right. Or are you saying why is it still usher?
Yeah. No, I'm doing it to degrade it.
That's not wrong.
But I think, hold on, what's the... If you do it derech bizan, you're chayav. So that's not even... Oh, that's Kedarko, you're right. Yeah, so if you're poor Atma to Merciless, then it is... yeah, that's interesting. Okay, fine, yeah, that's...
No, but I think it's hard to around if you do the wrong Avoda.
Mm-hmm.
And right. If you're trying to definitely on
right. Meaning, yeah. If you really just can't find a bathroom and you run into the the awful thing. Yeah, I don't know though, and then we'll have to wait till we do Avodah Zara.
Yeah. So it was like some points off where I guess like one of the good kings makes a Talmud of Avodah Zara into a bath house. Arko just like a bathroom, and the Arko just finds it's built like bathroom with like nobody pooped there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think the Rambam brings that down. What is our? Okay, so let's just say what we said yesterday about the pasuk, and then maybe we can get it. So, if you load, this is what Rambam Bekius said. It'll cause him to harm people, to injure with Torah. If you give us a ksil who has a slingshot stones, he'll harm people with it, right? So if you give him Torah, he'll harm people with it. Yeah, right. You're giving him more ammunition.
I don't know. Only thing that satisfied me was only satisfying if I had enough knowledge of like other sayings.
Yeah.
But you seem to say that really means
yeah.
Much more than like the aspect.
Yeah.
Well, maybe as in like maybe the idea is that you think you're doing something good, but you're not. Because in Mercolius, you think you're I guess showing Mercolius, I guess what he's made of and degrading him.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it's
I'm saying that that's more than also that one. And it says everything on the Marcos, and yeah,
no, he's like
that's it's not
right.
Exactly, but you think when you do, you think you're doing something good.
Meaning the Ovid thinks that he's doing something good, but in the
no. I mean the throw. I mean the person who's over on Sham, when he throws, thinks he's doing something good.
Oh.
Because he thinks he's
Oh, you mean like a guy who like thinks that he's like if you threw stones at any other Avodah Zara, then that would be good because you'd be degrading it. So the guy who's doing that to Merciless thinks he's positively degrading it, but really he's doing the worst thing. So too, no, I see this. Hold on, let me just talk it out. So too, we think that teaching Torah to everyone is good, but if you teach it to a Talmud She'eino Hagon, then that is the exact bad thing. That's like the opposite of Avodas Hashem. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good interpretation.
I mean, doesn't say not like
no, but Yosef is getting this from the context that like who do we need to tell this to? To not teach Torah to a Talmud She'eino Hagon, someone who thinks that teaching Torah to a Talmud She'eino Hagon is good or fine, right? And I do think that people would think that. Like I think this is a shock that we withhold Torah from people.
Well, no.
And
And I think it's technical. I
You
don't
think
think
the
it's possible.
plastic doesn't shine with that so well?
No, so now I think we could
I don't think that's what the muscle is saying. It's all not a muscle it's all muscle in that one Zara. Not if you make that Zara, you should have said that in the muscle.
I don't think so. No, I think I don't think it would convey the idea if it said Derek Bizayon.
You know what we're saying, isn't that? You're saying you wouldn't think that normally someone had it when it's all
Right.
Right? But in the head happens to be wrong. You're doing that for yourself.
No,
Right?
I think all we need.
That's a mark on the nimshal is that one is good, but in this is red.
Mhm.
That's not that is an issue, right?
Right.
But and the mark is clear if you say not at the mark with desire, even though you're trying to do it normally that you're thing.
No, I'm fine saying that that's just implicit in this because it's such a weird form of avodah zara. You know, like you wouldn't need to say if you were talking about like someone who defecates on Baal Peor. You know, like I think most people think that would just assume that is.
Not if you know that.
Yeah, not if you know that.
No, how do you know that that's what is not from orange and I think in the one is not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not,
I guess the
about
basis for good. I say because the Mishnah I think was written also for people who probably wouldn't know about Marcolis because by the time of the Rambam
Rambam explains Marcolis, so you know. Yeah. I'm fine with the Pierce. If you come up with something better, let me know. All right, let's go on to the Rav thing. Unless we did not. No, we didn't do 4. Oh, you gave an answer to that yesterday. Why do we? I think. Oh, you said that the parenthetical part it was not really a powerful question, but yeah. So I think.
That part. Yeah, I didn't know the big one. Yeah. I mean,
it's just to bridge from question 5 into this is that like I think we don't. So what is the concern with kavod here, right? Is it that we're concerned about the what happens to the ksil, or we're concerned about the kavod of Torah? I would think we're concerned about the kavod of Torah. That if you have someone who's like learning in yeshiva and has bad midos, that produces a bad name for Torah itself. And that causes harm. Yeah, right. So I think that so saying why don't we teach them at the same time in the Beis Midrash, like you can teach them all you want outside of the Beis Midrash, but we're not going to let his badness taint the institution of the Beis Midrash. We want all people who come. Yeah, right. And you need kavod Torah. I think the assumption is that kavod Torah is like is learning the Beis Midrash. Yeah, okay, fine. All right, now we get to the Rav questions. So we have how Rav she'ino holech b'derech tova, afa pi shechacham gadol hu b'chol ha'am tzrichim lo ein mislamdim mimeno ad she'achzor lemutav. So to a Rav who doesn't walk on the good path, which we're now saying means that he doesn't have good deos, even though he's a chacham gadol and everyone needs him, we do not allow ourselves to be instructed by him, right? Until he returns to the good, as it says. Kisif sekon yishmru das v'Torah yivakshim mipihu kim lach Hashem tzbakosu amar chachamim im dom harav l'malach Hashem tzbakos Torah yivakshim mipihu im lav al yivakshim Torah mipihu. Basically, he needs to be like an angel, right? So the questions we had on that were, what are we concerned with here for the Rav? I guess we really still have that question for the Rav, because the Ram doesn't say anything about kavod here. And the Rav presumably is already in the Beis Midrash, right? He got in. What is the standard for the Rav? Meaning, it sounds like a higher standard than just. We don't say that the Rav can be a Tom, right? Exactly. He has to be superlative. And then this is really the same question, right? I mean, kind of. Oh, whatever. No. Why do we say even though he's a great chacham and people need him? Like we said like what are we? Yeah, in some case.
Just saying previous like you're saying that this is only about the Beis Midrash, but I guess the Rambam doesn't I see where you're getting the Beis Midrash. Like, it doesn't specifically say that you don't bring in this Midrash.
Well, for the Talmud, it does. The achar kach machnisin also the Beis Midrash, right? So I'm assuming,
Okay.
and also I think the whole rest of the parak is about how the Beis Midrash was set up. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'd be comfortable saying it's only in the context of the Beis Midrash. But I hear what you're saying. They do have that thing with Rebbe Meir and Elisha ben Avuya and Acher, right? That he learned from him when they're on horseback. Right, or what when Elisha ben Avuya was on horseback, and and they said, how can you learn from someone like that? And he says, I take the fruit and discard the husk. And they said, yeah, only Rebbe Meir can do that. But that's also more than bad mitos. That's not chorus. Yeah.
That's an exception that proves the rule.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know you were talking about points and often. I guess says a lot about often.
Yeah. And then why don't we kick the Rav out? Which we can't really answer, but if we do answer, I'll be happy.
Okay, well, exactly. What does it even mean to kick the Rav out?
To put him in nidui, to prevent him from teaching.
Yeah,
To do what we did with Rambam Gamliel, right? Depose him from his position.
Who has the authority to do that?
Whoever's in charge of the Beis Midrash, his peers, whatever. The head of the Beis Midrash. And then the only question would be, well, what if he is the head of the Beis Midrash? I'm not worried about that.
I don't know if a Talmud would have run.
Right, his chavurah can.
Yeah.
Yeah. His Rebbe can do it.
I don't think his necessarily.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to use this tool yesterday. I forgot about this. Look at the Hamikra Rambam and see if Kafech quotes that pasuk elsewhere. Or sorry, if the Rambam quotes that pasuk elsewhere. What pasuk is it? It was pasuk in Malachi 2:7. I've shown you this before in Hilchos, right? This is all the places you look up any pasuk and it shows you.
What did it say before Rambam?
Where does it say before?
In the title.
Kafef. That's how it's spelled. Yeah. Yep. That's how. If you email a Yemenite, then that's how they spell it.
Oh.
Yeah. Malachi, because they say the kuf is a kuf, or however and then the
No, and then
oh, you mean with the aleph makes it look like kapach or kaf? Yeah, or there's no yud. There's spelled mil
I was
chaser.
more interested about the ends. Why there's no ch.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, because it's a ches. Ches is not a ch. Ches is a hard like a hard.
Not
It's a well, it probably would have the dot if you're one of those people. I don't like it.
It's not in the like hard.
Yeah, I think so. And then
If my language is not no.
or it's a lack of
Well,
translators.
yeah.
Okay. Where are we? We're looking for Malachi. It's going to be at the end. Zachariah Malachi. Where I'm missing. Oh, it's right there. What pasuk is it? I just looked at it. 2:7. 2:7. 2:7. פירוש משניות. What does that say? Rabos?
It says Rambam.
Is there a Maseches Rabos?
Olives.
Probably Avos. You're right. That's funny. Let me just look it up really quickly. I'm not gonna get one. Rabos. Johnny and I have a we call Maseches Bravos because in YBT the whoever did these bindings, however long ago that was, then there was a typo on the brachos and said bravos, and so we somehow got into
one.
I don't know. It's in the I think it was in the smaller version, so maybe it's up there. Yeah. I guess we still have them. But I like little things like that where like every time I pick up Maseches Bravos, I think Bravos and I laugh. It's just fun. 5. You I was
angry.
Oh.
The second pizza.
Oh yeah.
Because people call it the second veil.
Oh yeah. Well that's angry worthy.
It's a mistake. Not only is it stupid, you're calling attention to the fact that
Right. Didn't we go through that last year? And didn't we say that you could say that in Aramaic that it came from the Aramaic?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, 2:7. Here we go. So this is on the Mishnah. Wow, this is a long commentary. Oh, this is actually quite relevant.
Tomorrow.
Hold on. Okay, I'll just read this. It's short enough. Arba midos b'holchei l'beis midrash. Okay, so there are 4 midos in those who go to the Beis Midrash. Okay, holich ve'eno oteh, one who goes and doesn't do. Okay, schar halicha biado, the reward for going is in his hand. Oseh ve'eno holech, one who does and doesn't go there. Schar ma'aseh biado. The reward for the action is in his hand. Holech v'oseh chassid. If he goes and does it, he's a chassid. Lo holech v'lo oseh rasha. If he doesn't go and he doesn't do it, he's a rasha. So the Rambam is extremely long on this, but I'm just going to read where he quotes our pasuk. He says, hold on. Does the Rambam maybe combine? I'm confused. Okay. So it's already been explained explicitly that a person who has all intellectual virtues and ethical virtues is called Malach Hashem. V'hu Amro ki sivsei kon yishmor das v'tor yivakshim mipihu ki Malach Hashem tzavakosu. V'hada'as nichlalim bo kol hamalos hahigionios. Oh, interesting. So he's learning Yishmeru Da'as. He's saying that means that that guy has intellectual perfections. I read it differently in the Mishnah Torah. I read it when he says, Yishmeru Da'as, that like, I mean, this makes more sense, but that he's the one who should be in charge of like preserving knowledge, meaning like he's the one who's fit to be a Rav. But it's saying Yishmeru Da'as implies that he has intellectual virtues, because you can only be perfected after that. V'hu amro Torah yivakshim mipihu, more al shlemus b'malos hamidosios, kamosh b'yarnu b'perik revi'i, shezehu mataras Torah. As that's referring to perfection in ethical virtues, as we've explained in the 4th parak of Shemona Prakim, which is the goal of Torah. Lefikach amar v'chol nasif yisah shalom. Okay, fine. Yeah, all right. So the thing we get from this is just, it means total perfection. That's all. Perfection in midos and perfection in deos. Yeah. So why the high standard? And is this really realistic to expect? I mean,
It's not now.
Yeah. I mean,
or was the secondary high standard the standard you need to accept him again?
So what do you need to accept him again?
As in, like, when she's not going to derech tova, I guess you.
Oh, meaning like he was on the derech tova and he went off.
Yeah, or she's not derech tova, you don't learn from him until he's yachzor l'mutav.
Yeah, I think the source he's quoting seems to be more of just for the basic halacha.
Okay.
Yeah. Just one thing here, by the way, that I think even the Rambam would agree with, even though he doesn't write it, is when he says in a situation of eis lasos l'shem hefir Torah sacha, you can't have this level of meaning if like there are no good teachers except, yeah, or there's eis lasos in general, but I'm saying like I think that on a practical level, when I was asking yesterday, why is it that we don't seem to care as much about either of these things? I think like it seems like there is a good argument to make that if we were so makpid on like these criteria, then like Torah would just vanish, yeah. So what were the only questions we didn't answer? So the main thing is just, understanding the standard. So let's revisit it a little bit tomorrow and then move on to the next thing. Okay. Bli neder. All right, let us stop here for today.